A case study in nutrition by Krause. Nutrition assessments are fundamental to understanding individuals' nutritional needs. A dietary assessment is necessary and evaluates an individual's nutritional needs. Nutrition assessments are a systematic process that collects and interprets information to justify decisions regarding the type and causation of nutrition-related health issues that can impact an individual. Basic nutrition assessments were taken, which includes a 24-hour and 3-day food record, along with the participant's nutrition history. Completing the nutritional assessments will provide the participant with appropriate dietary information regarding their diet, lifespan requirements, and anthropometric measures. I will explore recommendations, advantages, and disadvantages to justify the effectiveness of nutritional assessments. When conducting the 24-hour food recall, an issue presented is reliability. Completing a 24-hour food recall only once makes it difficult to identify consistent behaviors occurring in the diet. These bad choices can consist of discretionary foods or not receiving the correct servings for each food group, regarding the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. Evidence provided explains the singular 24-hour food recall does not consider day-to-day variation. Having 2 or more food recalls presents an estimate regarding dietary intake. It is common to estimate dietary intakes by completing a 24-hour food recall, although studies encourage up to 9 assessments for reliability. During the 24-hour food recall process, my participant found it challenging to remember specific details about the meal they consumed, for example, measurements. Having to recall and remember food consumed during this period encourages an error and lack of detail. This lack of detail can cause an issue when analyzing the nutritional assessment, as it is not accurate and can be invalid. The level of detail in this specific food recall is limited, only requiring the time of food consumed, type of food, and serving amount. Other information stated by the participant during the 24-hour food recall was that her diet can vary due to her occupation as a teacher, which most days she misses eating her lunch. To enhance the quality of information collected in the 24-hour food recall, I would suggest keeping a book and pen handy or using a phone to precisely record what was in the meal, including seasonings and measurements. An example to enhance food information would be that instead of recording a ham sandwich consumed at 11 a.m., it should also include the vital information such as type of bread, how many slices, quantity of butter, and other fillings. This level of detail makes it helpful to analyze and make changes to improve the diet. Issues encountered when conducting the 3-day food record is that the process is time-consuming. The level of detail including measurements, time, cooking methods, and techniques. The participant that completed the 3-day food record lives a busy lifestyle, being a teacher and a mother, and finds it difficult to find the time to record the exact quantities of food consumed. From the information gathered, it is evident that the food record can contribute to false information. The inconvenience and time-consuming nutritional assessment can cause false recordings due to the time taken to record and measure the food. My participant is a prime example of how food records can lead to incorrect information being recorded. The accuracy of the measurements relies primarily on the participant's honesty and correct measurements. My participant was inconsistent with the correct measures of foods. NUTR12001 state that it is essential participants have an understanding of food measurements, and estimates are critical in providing accurate results. To enhance the accuracy of information, I would suggest using an external online measurement tool, such as a food tracker app. This tracking device can provide greater awareness of nutrients in foods and indicate what content is in each food, influencing a balanced diet as well as serving sizes. As the 3-day record is a long process and time-consuming, mobile food measurement apps can measure foods quickly and efficiently, being a helpful tool. A study by the National Library of Health supports the diet measuring apps are convenient and accurately measure foods, playing a role in the dietary information. An advantage of the 24-hour food recall was how quick and efficient the process was. The questions asked were open-ended questions requiring little effort. An advantage presented by Rezenkow explains the assessment to be less of a burden to participants. This shorter option is a quick way of gathering data. This relates well to my participants' busy lifestyle, as this nutritional assessment is time efficient. A major concern of the 24-hour food recall is the risk of becoming overweight. To improve the accuracy of the recall, it requires multiple assessment days to provide validity, as stated by the National Cancer Institute. It is evident that 24-hour food recalls provide enough evidence to highlight relationships within the diet to assess total diet intake. Disadvantages regarding the food recall are the level of detail regarding food measurements and the breaking down of meals. Measurements during the national recall uses estimates. For example, if the participant has consumed one orange, it should be recorded as a medium-sized orange weighing 150 grams. Not being precise with serving sizes can impact on the daily recommended serves for sex and age as instructed in the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating Guidelines. This nutritional assessment requires proficient memory skills. Studies support that inaccuracy of one singular 24-hour food recall, as it does not describe the participant's typical diet. Rezenkow explains that nutritional food recalls must include precision. Therefore, multiple days are needed for validity. This process can present a disadvantage due to the cost and administration time for a professional to conduct this recall and give recommendations. A proposal to prevent low economic status preventing a barrier would be to download or use the internet as a resource to track food intake through various applications and compare online to the participants' specific population norms. The 3-day food record assessment identifies participants at high nutritional risk and can monitor changes in nutritional status. This advantage is due to the high level of specific data collected concerning the 3-day food record. Rezenkow's studies state that the most valid nutritional assessment was the 3-day food record. Compared to the 24-hour food recall and the 5-day food record, the 3-day food record presented the lowest percentage of missing food information. Errors in the nutritional assessment can vary in correspondence with different dietary methods. The 3-day food record was the best overall nutritional information method. When adding measurements to the 3-day food record, it is essential to be specific. It is essential that portions are correctly measured by household measuring cups or scales, rather than estimates regarding size measurements. The major disadvantages of the 3-day food record are that it is time-consuming and requires detailed information. The level of detail when measuring food is extensive. For example, coffee. The brand of coffee used must be included, the type of milk and what specific sugar and quantity. It is essential that preparation techniques are recorded at home or in a restaurant to ensure the food is correctly recorded. For example, listing all condiments, ingredients, and preparation methods. In doing so, this lengthy process is time-consuming but provides excellent data for comparison. A disadvantage supported by studies is biased behaviors can occur as individuals rely on the participants' ability to self-report and give food information. It is essential that all food is correctly measured or weighed. Studies state that smartphones and online diet tracking apps are beneficial and valid in assisting accurate food measurements. When completing the 3-day food record with my participant, the smartphone app Easy Diet Diary was used to conveniently enter her food intake for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. The individual's food intake for their stage of the lifespan and the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating recommends for daily serves of each group, including discretionary foods, were analysed. This participant's food intake concerning her lifespan stage and the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating is categorised between the age, group, and gender. My participant is 46 years old and is female. According to the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, she is categorised into the women's 19 to 50 years group. The 5 food groups and recommended daily servings helped analyse the recommended serves. The data collected was calculated to find the average of daily servings for each food category. The Australian Healthy Eating Guidelines recommend the minimum amount of serves of vegetables per day is 5. Based on the 19 to 50 years and women category, currently my participant's average daily intake of vegetables is 2 serves. Therefore, it is recommended that she needs to consume an additional 3 serves to meet the requirements for her category. As a result, my participant is missing out on essential vitamins and minerals by not consuming the recommended vegetable intake. Eating low amounts of vegetables will increase the participant's risk of chronic health disease, contributing to nutrient deficiencies. The average daily serving of fruit was only 1 serve, although 2 serves are recommended. By increasing the serving amount by 1, the participant will be meeting the requirements for this food group. Research states that eating few fruits can impact the body, causing digestive-related problems such as constipation. The recommended grain intake for the respective age and gender category is 6 serves. When calculated, my participant only consumes 2 serves daily. My participant is deficient in the grains category by 4 serves, depriving the body of fibre found in grains. When completing the nutritional assessment and calculating serving amounts for the grains category, an additional question was asked regarding the low grain intake. The participant explained that she partakes in a low carbohydrate diet, which explains the low daily grain intake. Based on the appropriate category, the daily recommended serving amount for lean meat, fish, eggs, and nuts is 2.5 serves. The participant has 2 serves a day, which is close to the requirements. By increasing lean meats by half a serve daily, we'll meet this food group. Using the recommended daily servings for dairy consumption based on the women's 19 to 50 years category, the Australian Health Guidelines recommend 2.5 serves. The average calculated daily dairy consumption is only 1 serve. Whilst using the 24-hour food recall, vital information was missing, which included the participant's daily coffee containing dairy. Using the 3-day food record contributed to correct data involving the serving amount. To improve dairy consumption, the participant could possibly add cheese to her salad to incorporate the extra serve. For meal preparation, careful thought and planning will ensure all the food groups are being met. An additional category called discretionary contains foods with added sugar or salt, which can be processed in saturated fat, and alcohol is also included in this category. The participant after dinner has 1 serving a day of discretionary foods, being chocolate. Currently, my client is meeting the recommended discretionary food intake. When considering the participant and her diet choices, she participates in a low carbohydrate diet that makes it challenging to meet the recommendations for healthy diets. My participant needs to consume more vegetables, fruit, grains, lean meat, and dairy based on the nutritional assessment by calculating servings. Meal preparation is a great way to select what goes on each meal carefully. The participant can better manage her portion sizes and amounts for each food group to meet the requirements. When preparing food, the participant can monitor and control food portions and know what ingredients are present. Poor nutritional intake can impact psychological emotions, causing risk factors. These inadequate nutritional intakes can result from consuming many discretionary foods. Queensland Government of Health states that selecting nutritious foods is essential for the body and brain. The brain accounts for 20% of individuals' total daily energy. Regarding my participant's stage in their lifespan, being 46 years old, she is going through early stages of menopause, which may affect her health. The after effects of menopause cause bone thinning due to hormone-related changes. It is recommended that her stage in life and menopause, she needs to consume high amounts of calcium-rich foods and high fiber and drink low-fat and low-salt options. The Better Health website created by the Department of Health Victoria recommends calcium-rich foods to reduce the risk of osteoporosis. It is of concern that women can lose up to 10% of their bone mass in the first year after menopause. To prevent chronic disease, it is vital that a new eating plan be implemented to maintain and manage weight whilst incorporating calcium-rich foods for a healthy diet. During the nutritional assessment, information was gathered regarding the participant's family history. Family history includes the lifestyle disease type 2 diabetes. This disease being prominent in her family due to poor diet, high in sugar and fats. By decreasing discretionary foods containing high sugars and fats, the risk of type 2 diabetes declines. A statistic presented by the Harvard School of Public Health is that type 2 diabetes can be prevented as 9 in 10 cases in America due to lifestyle changes. Recommendations include choosing water over sugary soft drinks and selecting whole grains over refined carbohydrates to limit processed carbohydrates. Body mass index requires height and weight to calculate if adults are classed as underweight, healthy weight, or overweight and obese. Table 1D from the Australian Government Department of Health shows the classifications of adults are underweight, healthy weight, overweight, or obese based on BMI results. The participant's body mass index was calculated at 26.6. Compared to Table D1, the category best suited is 25.0 to 29.9, classified as overweight. A study found evidence that the association between weight gain classified as overweight or obese was linked with depression. The anthropometric measures regarding waist circumference were measured at 82 centimeters for this participant. Waist circumference is another method of measuring weight-related health risks. Concerning the Australian standards, a waist circumference of 89 centimeters presents a weight-related health risk of high. Women 88 centimeters and above are classified as having an increased health risk for chronic disease. The Australian government explains that most weight-related illnesses can be prevented by eating the correct serving amounts of nutritious foods and avoiding foods high in saturated fats, sugar, and salts. Nutritional assessments will always be essential to help understand what foods and nutrients are being consumed to contribute to a healthy diet. Throughout the 24-hour food recall, issues were raised regarding the validity, with only one single assessment being completed. It was challenging to correlate results with the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating norms. The 3-day food record was the most accurate nutritional assessment, being valid and being able to compare foods over multiple days. The 24-hour food recall and the 3-day food record give basic information for the participant regarding her nutritional history to make decisions on healthy eating choices to avoid health issues. Recommendations were made to assist during the nutritional assessments to receive correct results while still being specific. Gathering information about the participant and her stage in her lifespan contributed to an eating plan being prescribed with careful consideration of anthropometric measure results.